We are live right here on Substack. Ben Meiselas, joined by Allison Gill of Mueller, She Wrote, right here on Substack and every other social media platform that exists. And Allison and I, our friendship goes back many, many years before Substack, before everybody started doing videos here and on YouTube, before the real shift away from corporate news towards independent media. Allison was always a pioneer of the concept of independent media with the Mueller She Wrote network many, many years back. And it's been incredible being a friend of yours, Allison, and also to now launch your first video podcast. I've been encouraging you for a very long time, and your format was leading in audio and launching multiple number one audio podcasts out there. But we have a very big announcement that we're making here on Substack about a new show that you're doing on the Midas Touch Network. So I'll let you take it away, Allison.
Ben, thank you. It's so good to see you. Yeah, I remember all those years ago, we went to dinner and we're like, we got to fix the media. It's broken. The way that they're doing it is not the right way. We want to do it the right way. And I went the audio path. I chose the path less traveled, I guess. And you guys went the video path. And so, everyone's like, Allison, you got to do video. Video is the next big thing. And I'm like, I don't want to wear makeup. I don't want to be on camera. I went over my jammies. It's true. Video is where it's at. And so I'm super pleased here now. I think it's pretty obvious, when you want to do a video podcast, who you going to call, right? You're going to call the Meidas Touch Network and my good friends there. So we did it. We set it up, and today we're going to go live with the first ever episode of The Breakdown. It's a weekly podcast where, I do all these audio podcasts. I swim through the zone that's been flooded, and I pick out what I think is important. I think we covered like 50 or 60 headlines across 8 shows this week alone in audio. And so with all of that in my head, I wanted to take a few minutes to kind of wrap it all together and put it in context and talk about how these headlines connect with one another and what it means for democracy, what it means for the media. And so you were like, I'm on board, and I'm like, great, let's do this. And so we launch it today.
So we will be live on YouTube at 3:30 Pacific time. But then what we'll do is we'll take that live. Then we'll also bring it here on Substack, and we will be then disseminating it to our audiences here, so everybody can get it no matter what format you're on. As I reflect on this week, though, Allison, the way the week ended with Donald Trump utilizing what used to be the Rose Garden belonging to we the people. It was our Rose Garden. It's our house, the White House, what our taxpayer dollars are. It's the people's house. But for him to use that and then demolish it, put a bunch of concrete all over it, and turn it into Club Rose Garden, an exclusive club for the elites, the oligarchs, Republican Congress members and senators, as they're partying on this concrete area, which isn't a club. It's our freaking Rose Garden. And it's just weird that they're calling it a club, but they're calling it a club. On the same day, you got the worst job report numbers really in a generation. And then on the one hand, this weekend, you have people like Kevin Hassett, Trump's economic advisor, saying that it was actually the Bureau of Labor Statistics it's all manipulated, it's politicized, and that's why the job numbers are bad. The same day you then have Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent saying, no, it's Jerome Powell's fault. The markets are horrible. Now we have to lower interest rates. It reminds me of the same kind of no consistency with horrific things, as Trump says everything Epstein is one massive hoax. It's a Democratic hoax. We're not turning over anything. And then you have MAGA Mike Johnson saying, no, actually, Donald Trump's the hero in this. He's the informant who discovered it all and busted Epstein. And even though he's the hero, he doesn't want to release the files that he's saying is a hoax. So I know you're going to be covering a lot of topics, but just those things alone. And then of course you go into the United States military blowing up a fishing boat and and saying that it's Tren de Aragua. Even if it was Tren de Aragua, we're out there just like murdering people, and the president's posting ISIS style execution videos now, and we don't get to even know more. The China Shanghai Tianjin meeting, where our enemies and now Modi joining them of India laughing in our faces. So how do you even decide what stories to cover, Allison?
It's pretty tough, but, when we take what you talk about with club whatever, the Rose Garden Club, which is just a perfect metaphor for what the ruling class and the oligarchs are doing to the rest of us in this country. I personally look forward to toasting you perhaps at a rededication of the Rose Garden, maybe in 2030, when a Democrat takes back the White House. But we have that, and then we have the oligarchs represented in the Epstein files and trying to keep those a secret, and then we have the oligarchs on the Supreme Court. But today I want to talk about how all three of those things come together, and then with a little bit of hope at the end, because you know, they have failed. Judge Jeanine Pirro, box of wine herself, has failed to indict so many people in DC, just like Trump's U.S. attorney in L.A. failed to indict, the riotous protesters who were trying to burn down Los Angeles there. Because we, the people, are one of the main guardrails for rogue prosecutions by a ruling class. It's called the federal grand jury. And I want to kind of look at it from that point of view, as well as what we can do as citizens to fight back against this. And how, I think that the blowing up the Tren de Aragua narco terrorists could be pretext for creating the idea that there is a predatory incursion or an invasion to allow him to use the Alien Enemies Act to intern people who now are not allowed bail hearings, so that the private prison barons can make a crap load of money off of detaining people in camps. So I think it all comes together. Everything connects, and so I think that's probably going to be my main focus when I go live at 3:30 today.
I think what Trump wanted to do with that boat, he wanted to provoke the war with Venezuela. So you blow up that ship. We have all of our military assets right off the shore. Um, Venezuela is sending their fighter jets to go over our ships in kind of a show of strength, but they're obviously not going to attack our ships because they know that would be the stupidest thing in the world. But what I think is happening behind the scenes there is you have China kind of calling the shots as well and saying to Venezuela, look, don't take this bait. They want you to do something so that they could have a pretext to invade and then go after you. America's doing enough damage on its own. Trump is too scared to do more than that on his own unilaterally. So just don't, you will damage America more by literally doing nothing. And, I think even China realizes, like, why would we even need to invade Taiwan when Donald Trump's sanctioning Taiwan and tariffing their semiconductor industry and going to naturally force Taiwan to almost come back to China? Like, every move we're making right now is the worst move imaginable, whether it's in health, energy, foreign policy, not to mention last night, the most drone strikes in the history of Russia's invasion of Ukraine, and Russia hit Ukraine's cabinet and parliamentary building where the prime minister's office is as well. And it just is interesting because, yeah, you have, the morning news shows here, but like no one's covering this stuff. Like,
No.
it's wild.
Yeah, and that's why everybody, I think, appreciates Meidas Touch Network so much, and of course, the audio pods we do, and hopefully this new live show that I'll be doing. But you're right, and then you add in the biggest single site ice raid in U.S. history with South Koreans at a Hyundai battery plant. In
Did you see the video? Have you seen that video?
with the shackles and the yeah. Just you're just driving our allies into other economic arms globally, and so nobody's mentioning that. And by the way, we need those batteries because we talk about the the Republicans and Trump's cabinet not understanding how wind and solar work when the wind isn't blowing and the sun isn't shining. It's batteries, and so you're going in and hugest single site rate on this battery plant. I don't really want to have to take time to explain how batteries work to them, but that's their complaint about, continuing to take tons of dark money from big oil and drilling. And then, you talked about don't take the bait with, obvious. And then, oh, Insurrection Act time, right? And now we've got to post up troops at the polls in 2026 and take over sanctuary cities under the Insurrection Act. So, we don't have to violate posse comitatus by turning the military against citizens. It's all connected. And that's what's so great about independent media, like what you guys are doing, what we do over at MSW Media. We connect those dots. You guys connect those dots and bring it all into, instead of just, here's a headline. Next, here's an unrelated headline. Next, here's an unrelated headline. The corporate media just talks at us, and then they make us listen to Scott Jennings. And I think that that's the wrong way to go about it. So this contextual curated news is what's very important. And that's why I'm so thankful that you guys are going to carry this show.
Well, it's an honor to be able to carry the show. I saw Adam Parkamenko join the chat, and I see so many other people. It flashes by so quickly that I see people with the check marks, and then I recognize the names. And so, if I go and shout out everybody who's got independent media platforms that's here right now watching this, it would probably take me the rest of the show. But I do want to give a shout out to everybody else who's stepping into this fora, because it's a major initiative of what I do, what you do, and what others do to promote other independent news. And to me, the rising tide raises all ships in democracy together here. And there are increasingly, a lot of people who are trying to make names for themselves in this space by attacking and spreading lies and going in that direction and dividing. But I want everybody to know that our focus here at the Midas Touch Network, at Mueller, She Wrote, and everybody kind of in our crew, is always to ignore all that crap, lift everybody up together, and support everybody who wants to get into this, who recognizes that we're in an existential moment right now, and the resistance has momentum. It really does. I mean, as to your point, I don't want to give away, what your live is going to say, on the show, but and I don't know what it's going to say, but there, I write frequently about hope and momentum, and it's not just to spread hope as hopium, but it's to really educate people that you know, Hitler's Germany, it took depending on your historical account, 33 to 55 days to fully kind of subjugate the population, where most of the people in Nazi Germany were Hail Hitlering at that time, around 55 to 56 days in, and then the regime took off from there. We're 200 days plus in, and Trump's approval decreases, and the resistance actually gets stronger each day, not weaker, and more awareness is being brought to what's taking place. So when I see the protests peaceful in DC, in Chicago, the booing at the US Open, and wherever he goes, he's not getting greeted like he thinks he is or he wants to. And the resistance rises, the resistance gets stronger. So I'm excited to watch. big crowd, Allison. I mean, we got 2,000 plus people here where you and I just wasn't like we made an announcement even of, hey, we're going to do, but that's the power of independent news, that we can talk about these issues that are not being covered anywhere in cable with in front of a huge crowd, and then they spread the news and share the news. So everybody here, you're also more than us. Actually, you're the heroes in the story. Keep doing what you're doing. We're grateful for you. Closing statement, Allison, before we go, and I make a video on Trump getting booed for for YouTube.
Thank you for putting that out, since the networks were told not to, and apparently bent the knee and did that. But Ben, you and I could be rich beyond the dreams of avarice if we went the doomerism route, if we went the hard complaint route, the both sidesism route, and that's just not who we are. And so that's why I think this is such a good partnership for this show that I'm launching, my first video show. Um, I'm not going to wear makeup, everyone. No, I'm not going to pay the glam tax. But my final thought is you mentioned Adam was here, and he shared a really what I thought was a very thought-provoking cartoon today on Blue Sky, and it's a Nazi hailing Hitler, and then Jake Tapper with a notebook saying, "Yes, but FDR can't walk." And I just think that that sort of sums up pretty great in a pretty great way why independent media is so important, and the things that we should be focusing on: democracy and freedom, and taking back the House, taking back the Senate, and moving forward in the best way that we can. And so that's why I'm so proud and excited for MSW Media and Meidas Touch to partner. It's been a long time coming, and we need to go back out to that same place and have another dinner sometime soon, all of us. And I really appreciate everything that you're doing for media and the media environment.
Well, you too. And people are asking, will we also be posting that here? Yeah. So 3:30 it goes live on YouTube. And then we'll figure out a time shortly thereafter to post it here on Substack after the live finishes. It's been a very big weekend for my younger brother, Brett. I can't get into more details because I can't steal his thunder, other than to say Brett and his family are very happy. But I'm not going to go beyond that. And everything's great, and he's very happy. But I'm the least technologically savvy brother by far, as the oldest brother. So I've been trying to figure out. I have a new respect for what Brett does. So with that, we'll try to figure out when we post this on Substack, but we'll post it soon. Allison, a great honor to bring your new show, The Breakdown, to the Meidas Touch Network. I know it's going to be great, and looking forward to it more. Great seeing everybody, and we'll be covering Trump getting booed soon on YouTube. Thanks, Allison.
Thanks, Ben. See you soon.
And everybody, make sure you hit subscribe right here. If you're not subscribed to our channel, subscribe to Allison's Substack, The Mueller She Wrote, Allison Gill channel, and become a member if you can. We love having more members and subscribers here. So thanks, everyone. Have a great rest of your weekend.